introduce this three-tiered models of prevention, you can think about Ci3T as a blueprint for the school. In essence, the Ci3T implementation manual each school creates becomes the document that details all the availabilities for students across academic, social, and behavioral domains. It also contains a plan of what's available at Tier 2 or secondary prevention for just some students. These are low-intensity supports intended to help students who may need some extra support. The Ci3T implementation manual also includes plans for Tier 3 supports, again, evidence-based practices for just a few students that have the most intensive intervention needs. Ci3T is a framework for organizing everything that's available and happening at a school, including enrichment opportunities as well as remediation efforts. Our research team has been in education for many years and have seen over time new things come in and other things go out. And essentially, the Ci3T model of prevention is a framework that the school or district can use to organize everything that's taking place as new initiatives come and go. The decisions of what to include support schools and district goals of making sure evidence-based practices, strategies, and programs are in place at each level of prevention, and that we are incorporating a data-driven approach to support the multiple needs of all students. And in this way, general and special educators can collaborate efficiently and effectively. This allows schools to both prevent the development of learning and behavior problems from occurring, and then responding efficiently and effectively when problems do occur.
This model was built by a school site Ci3T leadership team who are representative of the faculty and staff. They will build the school's Ci3T implementation manual over the course of a school year with feedback from all faculty and staff. What's unique about Ci3T is that it attends to students' development in academic, behavioral, and social-emotional learning domains. The Ci3T leadership team develops a primary prevention, or Tier 1 plan, focused on these three domains. For the academic piece, in many states this is linked to the Common Core state or district standards, anchored to college and career readiness standards. We have learned over the past several years that with response to intervention models, the benefit is of close monitoring of student performance, including benchmarking student progress in core skill areas 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring. This allows us to use those data to quickly determine which students may need extra support in the form of Tier 2 or Tier 3 supports. Likewise, work in the social domain centers around the use of an evidence-based social skill, social-emotional learning, or character development program. As part of the Ci3T building process, leadership team members and district leaders will review curriculum using clear guidelines to inform decisions. For example, teams review the evidence regarding student outcomes of various programs. Teams investigate whether these outcomes align with the school's desired outcomes, goals, and areas of needs.
The programs listed here are only examples, and each Ci3T leadership team selects a program based on the values and the culture of their community and according to their school data informed by district decision making. We also want to make sure that anything that schools bring into their building has a plan for students who will need additional support beyond Tier 1 efforts. And for anyone who has ever worn spandex, we know that one size absolutely does not fit all. So when the Ci3T leadership team selects and adopts the social skills program, they need to make sure that there is a plan for how to support students who need more than what is typically offered at Tier 1. In terms of establishing the behavioral component or school-wide PBIS, this is not a curriculum, but a framework. And through the great lessons learned about PBIS, we know that the intent is to level the playing field for all students and to provide them with clearly defined expectations regarding what is expected of them across all key settings in elementary, middle, or high schools. And then just like we teach academic and social skills, we will teach these expectations to students, and we'll give everybody an opportunity to practice and receive feedback and reinforcement for meeting these expectations. We want to make sure that every adult is on the same page as what is expected, and then we want to acknowledge students for meeting those behavioral expectations.
A vital component of the building process is unique to Ci3T is that it's a data-informed approach to establishing school-wide expectations. Using input from all faculty and staff, gathered from the school-wide expectation survey for specific settings, Ci3T leadership teams design an expectation matrix that looks like this, which is going to establish, clarify, and define expectations in key areas, whether it's in an elementary school setting or in a middle or high school setting. and thus these integrated academic, behavioral, and social efforts form the base of the Ci3T model of prevention. Next, we need to consider how we can respond to students who may need additional supports across any of these three domains.
To accurately detect who needs more in which areas, the school site Ci3T leadership team will identify key variables to inform decision making. We encourage schools to consider using data that are typically not considered, such as visits to the nurse's office and attendance data. School is 100% one of those must be present to win games. So if you have students who are not regular attenders, we need to make sure that we first support them in getting to school and having good attendance, because we don't want to suggest to their parents that they are not responding to what's in place if they're not there to get what's in place. Another thing that may be novel to schools is the introduction of behavior screenings, which are very similar to academic screenings that schools may already have in place. And just like academic screening, behavior screenings take place 3 times a year: fall, winter, and spring, with the first time point for behavior screenings being 4 to 6 weeks after the school year begins. And then this information is used to obtain essentially snapshots in time as to how a school is progressing, and it also can lead to data-informed decision-making as to which students or teachers might need extra support. When looking at your Tier 2 supports, it's also referred to as our secondary prevention efforts. We again want to create an opportunity where students with data and identified needs can access these evidence-based practices in an efficient way. The Ci3T leadership team works with others in the school and districts to make transparent these extra supports in the buildings by creating these intervention grids, which lists all available offerings. Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention grids are part of the Ci3T blueprint and have explicit criteria on how students will be assisted if they have additional needs. In other words, how do I connect these students to supports such as behavior contracts, self-monitoring efforts, check-in, check-out, reading groups. I might use instructional choice, other low-intensity supports as well. The goal is to make sure that everybody, teachers, peers, and students have equal access to this information. So rather than relying on teacher nomination or teacher referral, the intent with these grids is to make certain that decisions are driven by data, creating equitable access for students to access these additional supports. They will build mechanisms for monitoring student performance, the degree to which it's implemented, and stakeholders' views, and also determine the exit criteria.
A key part is that all secondary and tertiary prevention efforts in a school building are additive in nature. Ci3T leadership teams clarify that students, for example, are not removed from core reading time to improve their reading with extra supports. They become additional supports. For example, one evidence-based Tier 3 support is functional assessment-based intervention, which is a highly effective procedure for promoting pro-social behavior. This would not be done instead of your school-wide plan, but in addition to that plan. We do, though, want to reserve these intensive supports for students with the greatest need.
Thank you very much for listening today. We are excited that you're exploring Ci3T, and we wish you every success as you build and install. Take care.